Hey guys, it's Blanca and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I don't even know what I'm gonna title it. It might be something along the lines of things I wish I knew before my C-section, or what they don't tell you about labor, delivery, and postpartum. Yeah, I don't know, I just went down the rabbit hole this weekend of my labor and delivery blog post that I did with Riley, and I just started just listing a lot of things that I wish I had known before all of it had happened. Granted, I actually thought I was going to have a vaginal birth, but joke was on me. I ended up with a C-section. So everything that I had prepared for gone out the window. So if you guys are interested, then keep on watching. So I was debating about filming this video, you guys, just because I didn't know if I wanted to film it now or if I wanted to film it after I had my second child, because I don't know if I'm going to end up having a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after a C-section, or if I'm going to end up with another C-section. But a lot of you voted on my Instagram that you wanted me to film this right now. So here I am, and I'm going to list this how I have it on my notes. I just wrote them down how they came into my head and just how I was reading my old blog post with Riley's birth. So yeah, there is no particular order in these whatsoever. The first one is your C-section scar is going to look ugly. I'm letting you know that right now. It is going to look ugly, specifically the first couple of days to a couple of weeks. Horrible. I looked at my C-section, I think a day or two after the procedure, because I stayed maybe about 3 or 4 days at the hospital. And I cried. I cried like a baby just because I felt so ugly and I felt so deformed. I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I look like the Joker. It is horrible. And it was like the worst thing I could have done to myself at that point, just to like look at my C-scar. But I was so curious, so curiosity killed the cat. But just know that towards the end, or not even the end, like as the time passes by and as the months go by, your C-scar is going to look better. Now I look at it and I'm just like, hey, it doesn't really bother me whatsoever at this point. Number 2, the epidural is not as painful as you think it's going to be. And actually, it was a relief for me because I couldn't sleep due to all of the labor pains, and when I got the epidural, it was a gift sent from above. I was on cloud 9. All you feel is just like a little bee sting in your back. It is honestly a walk in the park compared to your contractions. And if you end up having a C-section, it actually facilitates the anesthesiologist's procedure for the C-section because you already have all the tubes and all of the, thingamajigs attached to your body. And when you're in the C-section, or having the procedure, I should say, you're not gonna feel a thing. The only thing you might feel is pressure and tugging, and I can verify that because I could feel the knife just gliding over my stomach. It was like the most weirdest sensation on this planet. Next up, internal monitors. Now this is where shit hit the fan with my birth with Riley. I kid you not. The external monitors weren't reading her heart rate correctly, and they were getting weird numbers, so they wanted to put an internal one in. I was like, okay, cool. Like, if it's, to keep the baby safe, make sure she has a good heartbeat, and all that good stuff, let's do it. Painful. Painful doesn't even begin to describe the amount of excruciating pain I was in. I am not lying to you when I say that the student that was doing it, because at that time I think it was overnight, it was an overnight staff, and they had the student there with the PA watching, stuck her entire hand right here. See all this? In me. I felt I was being ripped apart. It was horrible. And I had to go through it twice. It was horrible. Because she couldn't get it right. So the PA came and stuck her hand as well inside of me. It was not the best experience. Actually, I think that was the thing that mostly traumatized me, because I cannot believe a person stuck this inside of me. And like I said, I just felt like I was being ripped apart on top of the contractions coming in. So it was like a double whammy right there. Horrible. After they put it, I was fine. During it, my body was shaking uncontrollably. I could not speak. My husband was losing his marbles, to the point where the PA made a unsolicited advice, said that if we had taken birthing classes, then we would know that this is how labor and delivery is done, and has been done for over 100 years, to which my husband responded, "That's not the point, ma'am. And we can take as many classes as we want, but that goes out the window during this time, especially when you're a first-time parent." So, needless to say, the PA didn't say anything else after that, and then the nurse just kept apologizing every time she came in to see us. So, just know and be aware, if you're gonna get an internal monitor, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Next up, you are going to have a lot of hemorrhoids and constipation, not only during your labor and delivery, but also throughout your pregnancy. I got hemorrhoids with Riley. Horrible. Didn't even know it until I was just like, I feel like something here. This doesn't look right. So I asked my husband, I know, this is all TMI, but this is pregnancy, guys. Everything that has to do with pregnancy, labor, delivery, and postpartum is TMI. I asked my husband to look, and he's like, yeah, you have something there. So I ended up going to the doctor, confirmed it was hemorrhoids, and she said that it'll come and go due to the fact that, you know, you're constipated, so you're forcing yourself, and it's just horrible. And obviously when you're, you know, in labor and delivery, you're pushing so hard that, you know, you'll end up pooping, of course, but you'll also end up with hemorrhoids as well. So another fun thing to look forward to. Speaking of constipation and hemorrhoids, we're going to move down to peeing and pooping. Obviously, when you're pregnant, you're going to be peeing a lot more than usual, just because your bladder is like yay big. But when you deliver your child, nobody tells you that you won't be able to wipe yourself at all. Especially if you tear down there and you get an episiotomy, which is a cut between your vagina and your butt. But you won't be able to wipe yourself, so you're going to have to use a peri bottle. That thing is amazing. You just take the bottle and you swish, and you end up being clean. Beautiful thing. Also, your first poop after you deliver, whether you have a vaginal or a C-section, gonna be bad. It's gonna be painful. I did not want to poop because I felt like I was going to rip myself in half and just split my scar open. So the hospital does end up giving you, I think, stool softeners or laxatives, but most likely stool softeners, and that should ease, you know, the pain of going, because it's going to soften the stool. And I think they also give you some to take home with you as well. First time moms, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Expect your labor and delivery to be hours. And I'm not just saying 5 hours, 2 hours, no, hours, like days, hours. I was in labor and delivery, or labor I should say, for about 35 to 36 hours. And then I had my C-section. So just expect your first time to be long, and just know that it's going to take a while before your baby comes. I do hear that as you have multiple pregnancies, your second and your third and so on, your labor is shorter. Some tend to be longer, but you know, it just depends on the baby, the pregnancy. They're also different, but for the majority, the first time, it's going to be long. So prepare yourself. Showering. For my C-section mamas, I recommend you shower with someone there or have somebody shower you, because I made the horrible mistake of showering by myself with the nurse outside, and I should have waited for somebody to be in there with me, because I almost fell backwards. and I could feel my scar opening. It was not pretty. I saw my life flash between my eyes. It was horrible. Not between my eyes, flash through my eyes. It was just, I wanted to die. So after that, I made sure to have somebody either be in the shower with me or shower me, because I was not going to go through that. Next up, after birth, I'm going to be honest with you guys, you're still going to look pregnant. And I know you have all these influencers and celebrities putting like, oh, look at me, I bounced back. Crock of shit. Crock of shit. I'm letting you know that right now. Why? Because most of us do not bounce back like that, okay? Some of us are very fortunate to have, you know, good genetics. But let's be honest, a lot of these influencers and celebrities also have a chef, a dietitian, a trainer that can help them look their best and bounce back after a pregnancy, what, like 6 weeks, 3 months after the fact? You know, normal people don't have that. So just expect to look pregnant. You're still gonna have a belly. It is gonna go down as the weeks go by, so you're not gonna look pregnant forever. But just know that, you know, after you give birth, you're still going to look pregnant. If you have a C-section, expect and be aware that you are going to be made to walk the following day. I know, that's nuts. But that is done so that it can ease your gas pain, make bowel movements much easier, and prevent blood clots. I know it's difficult to think, like, how are you going to walk when you've been cut in half? But trust me, you're going to be made to walk, and it's going to be a lot better for you if you keep walking and have some movements, because it's just going to ease a lot of things, like I said, and as well as the water retention. Which, speaking of water retention, because of all the IV fluids you're going to have, you are going to be retaining a lot of water, and it's going to be a lot worse before it gets better. Trust me. I looked at my legs and I couldn't even go like this without it. Like, it doesn't hurt, but when you press on your legs and thighs, it doesn't have that cushiony feel. It feels really, really hard, and you're gonna be like that for the next couple of weeks, and then after that, all the water retention just starts to go away. The last one, but certainly not least, is for C-section moms. I know it's very hard, and it is a very emotional time, whether you have a C-section or not. But specifically for C-section moms, just know that it is okay to grieve a vaginal birth. I did that. I went through that. I felt like I was robbed of an experience, not just because I didn't have a vaginal birth, but because of the way things happened, where I was just so tired. I fell asleep. I barely remember hearing Riley crying. I would wake up in and out of my sleep and would just hear her crying in the OR, and then would fall back asleep and then wake up and I would see Miguel carrying her and then go back to sleep, and the next thing I knew, I was in the recovery room. So I didn't have that skin-to-skin contact with her until midnight the following morning, Monday morning. So I felt like I was robbed of an experience. I grieved that vaginal birth because I was like, why me? I felt like my body had failed me. I felt like I had failed. And so just know that it is okay to grieve that experience, and just give yourself some grace. Being a C-section mom doesn't make you any less of a mom, and just know that you are a real mom 100% through and through, because you sacrificed your body to have your baby and to make sure that your baby was here healthy. But that is it for today's video. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you guys find this to be a source of resource for you guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you're notified anytime I post a new video. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.